don't know how many eggs are in a dozen or whatever, that can be hard to figure out what's going on. So what I've done is I've taken a word problem and I have put each sentence onto a different card. So I cut this word problem up and I put each sentence on a different card. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to find the card that has the question that we want to answer. So I'm going to just kind of flip through here and look for the, how would I know that it's a question? It's got a question mark. So I'm looking for my question card. Here it is. My question is, how many legs does a crab have? Okay, so that is the question that all this information is somehow going to lead us to. I'm going to put that right at the top. On this side of my rug, I'm going to put information that I don't need to solve the problem. So I'm going to read card by card, and we're going to decide if it seems like helpful information, or does it seem like information that's necessary to solve the problem. We're going to put it on this side of the rug, okay? So my first card here, first part of this, and these have been mixed up, just so you know. Lobsters can regrow a leg if they lose it to a predator. So that's pretty cool. Why do we think it's not necessary?
Questions about crabs.
It's an interesting fact. This is talking about lobsters. And then there's that word predator on there. What is, you're right, I don't think we need this, but does anybody know what a predator is? Anyone know what a predator is? Yeah, it's something that eats other things, right? So I'm going to put it over here because, like we said, we're not really talking about predators and prey, and we're not talking about lobsters. I think we're talking about crabs. Okay, insects have 2 fewer legs than spiders do. Insects have 2 fewer legs than. Okay, so we don't need it. All right. A lobster's 2 front legs have claws for defense and holding food, but not for walking.
Let's take it.
We need to save it. A lobster's 2 front legs have claws for defense and holding food, not for walking.
Wrong crustacean.
Whoops.
Wrong crustacean. What's a crustacean?
Ooh.
It's one of those things in the thing. Things on that list.
Because this crustaceans is in this one right here, and there's 2 words that I'm not really sure about in here. This one says decapod crustaceans have 2 more pairs of legs than insects do. So first of all, they're still not talking about crabs, but there's 2 words in here that I'm not really sure of. One is decapod. So let's think about, there's a prefix on there. Remember, a prefix is something that kind of gets attached to the beginning of a word. So what does deca mean?
10.
10. And P-O-D has to do with feet. Okay, so that must mean that they have 10 feet, and this is talking about a crustacean. Remember, crustacean is a certain group of animals. When we worked with classifying, we talked about animals that were crustacean. They usually have an exoskeleton. So at least we're talking about feet on this one. Are crabs?
Crab is a crustacean.
Are crabs crustaceans? Okay, so let's put this over here. Crabs and shrimp have the same number of legs as lobsters.
Oh. Now I want some lobster back.
Were we keeping? Yeah, we're keeping. Okay. Spiders have 4 pairs of legs.
No. Well, I'm wondering,
But it said
because
it's
somewhere
insect.
over there it compared spiders to something else. We should have-
Lobsters.
This one says crustaceans and insects. This one says crabs and shrimp. And we
Yeah,
have
one says
insects and spiders here.
Well, we might want that, because we know how many legs a spider has, and then if we can go from spiders to insects and insects to crustaceans, we might need that information.
Now, do you know how many legs a spider has because of what I just read, or do you just know how many legs a spider has? And how many is that? Okay, and this says 4 pairs of legs. So whenever you see the word pair in a math problem, or really whenever, a pair means 2, right? So pair is going to indicate 2 for us. And if there's 4 pairs of legs, 4 times 2 is 8, so you were right. So what do we want to do with this though?
We wanna hold on to it, because I wanna revisit the one about spiders and insects.
This says insects have 2 fewer legs, and what does fewer indicate? What
Less.
mathematical?
Less.
Less.
Subtraction.
So it indicates subtraction, so that's another thing to kind of be thinking about in a math problem. When we see the word fewer, it generally means subtraction. So insects have 2 fewer legs than spiders do. This
Okay.
says spiders have 4 pairs of legs.
And then what does the one say about insects and crustaceans over here?
Decapod crustaceans have 2 more pairs of legs than insects do.
Okay, so we need that other one and this one.
I'm gonna put this one right now, I'm gonna put that right here
Okay.
in the middle, because I want to sort all my stuff before I start resorting. Lobsters are decapod crustaceans.
Yeah, we want that.
Yeah.
Well, but
Okay, so-
lobsters
So then-
and crabs have the same number of legs as lobsters.
So here's the question. Remember, is how many legs does a crab have? I've heard somebody suggest that we want to take this and this and bring it over.
I don't know about that one.
This one.
Yeah, we don't need that one, do we?
Well, this one tells us how many legs a spider has. We kind of know that information, but let's say we didn't know that information. This says insects have 2 fewer
Right.
than a spider, so that would be 8 minus 2, which that means that insects have 6 legs.
And decapod crustaceans have 2 more pairs than insects, so that's 6 plus 2 more pairs. 10. And lobsters.
So what are you saying though, then?
I would say that if we can say for sure that our knowledge of geometry has given us the information that decapods have 10 feet, then we only need the ones that say decapods have 10 feet. Lobsters are decapods, and crabs are also.
Okay, so here's what we know. This is a fact. This is a statement right here. And we know that decapod, we talked about the roots of those. So 10 feet, so we know that. Crabs and shrimp have the same number of legs as a lobster. How many does a lobster have?
10.
10. Says that right there.
So
How many legs does a crab have?
10.
10. So in math problems like this person that wrote this math problem added 2